Luke, and I'm on WPOV, so you better be listening. See ya. Whoa!
Wrestling POV podcast is not suitable for children. Parental guidance is advised.
Howdy, y'all. Coming on up, we have Shawn, Nia Jax, and Shayna Baszler. Which WPOV member had the best Survivor Series team? The hot tag news, Undertakers' greatest moments. This week in wrestling, Survivor Series predictions with your host, Cowboy Serrano III, and the gentleman, Elio, Cannella. All this and more on a new edition of the Wrestling POV podcast. Yeehaw!
Yeehaw! What in tarnations is going on?
I have no idea what's going on.
All I did was talk about that I like Adam Page over Dolph Ziggler. And I got this rude comment from the Lone Wolf Andy Anderson talking about Miguel Cole's a jackass and I'm a fanboy, Cowboy. What the hell?
I don't know. I mean, I went with you on that. I went with Adam Page.
But Elio, you didn't stick up for me when he was attacking me. I know you sided with me. You said Adam Page, but nobody, not even the legend TJ.
I wasn't even expecting that answer.
that was out of line. That was out of context. I feel like it wasn't fair.
It was preposterous.
There you go. And you know where it belongs.
In the toilet.
In the toilet, for sure. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, me, Rick Serrano III, and Elio Cannella are here with you guys. Tony Diaz is going to be taking some time off, much needed time off. You know, every time everybody needs a chance to recharge their batteries. So, Tony, don't worry. We got you, brother. Take your time off. But the good thing about Tony not being here was I was able to convince, and by convince, I'm using air quotes, convince Miguel Cole to take some time off as well. It didn't take much. All I said was, Miguel, I just need you to do this parental guidance. And he was like, okay, I'm out. And that was it. Just do the warning in the beginning of the show, Miguel, and you can take some time off. Stupid puppy. Well, how have you been, brother? Welcome to the Wrestling POV.
I've been good. It's great to be here.
Yes. All right. So, Elio, man, I'm not gonna limit you to 100 words. You are free, okay?
All right.
From the shackles of Wrestling POV Global. So you can say as much as you want. All right. So let's get started with our poll this week. Who's Shawn? Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Now, I know you guys went over this a little bit, so I want you to just give me a little bit more detail. Who do you pick and why?
Okay, so I went with Shayna Baszler as the Shawn of this team. Based on, first of all, I've never really been a fan of Nia Jax, and second, her track record for like injuring opponents, whether like accidentally or like she did with Becky Lynch, where she legitimately broke her nose. But for that, I'm gonna go with Shayna as a Shawn of the group, just based on like Nia Jax's track record of like injuring her opponents, and
for sure,
and she's just terrible in the ring.
Yeah, you know what? I couldn't agree with you more. And also, not just to focus on the negatives of Nia, I would also like to say that Shayna Baszler was a 2-time NXT champion. She was dominant in NXT.
Yep.
The Queen of Spades. You know, she's one of the best to come into WWE from an MMA background. For me, the way I look at it is this. I have a huge issue with Nia Jax. You know, I've always, on this show specifically, I really laid into Nia Jax. I always get on her for her weight. I would get on her for being injury prone and injuring other opponents. Mm-hmm. But when you really look at Nia Jax, Elio, I have to say this. When you look at her physique, she should definitely be the Shawn Michaels of this group, just based off of how big she is and how much of a monster she could be. But because of her lack of becoming a better wrestler and a better entertainer, you have to go with Shayna Baszler on this one. I mean, Nia Jax physically should be the Shawn Michaels. Like, she's the monster. She's a monster that, and it's just preposterous that she's not. It's not that she's not a superstar yet. When she had the title, she had it for like a month. And Shayna Baszler is somebody that can carry the load. Literally carry the load.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Coming out of this team, like, because eventually they're gonna lose the belts. Do you think Shayna's gonna become the face?
You know, that's tough to say, Elio, and I'm glad you asked that question.
They like we're gonna get into later on Raw. They make her look like a face, like when in the backstage segments.
Yeah, and a lot of the backstage segments, it looks like she's the anti-bully to Nia Jax's bully.
Yeah.
I could see her as a face. You know, I would have loved the program between her and Natalya. I think Natalya right now has become a stepping stone for superstars, and I feel like for her to pass the torch to Shayna would be a privilege. And I really think that a Queen of Spades versus the Queen of Hearts team at Survivor Series would have been cool to see. But with all that being said, let's go into some of the comments we got for Who's Shawn, Nia Jax versus Shayna Baszler. What do we got?
All right, so first comment from Lane Underwood. He just plain said Shayna.
Okay.
Nathan Moore says Shayna Baszler was the best heel in the entire company in 2019. So yeah, Shayna definitely.
Yeah, I mean, she did carry NXT for a while there.
Then we had Alila Peters says, "Don't disrespect HBK like that." I'm not sure how we're doing. I'm not sure how we're disrespecting HBK, but.
You know what's the name again?
Alila Peters.
Alila Peters, you know what? You are the hater comment of the week. We don't even have to go any further than that. You are the hater comment of the week, and the hater comment of the week is brought to you by Kenny Casanova, the biggest hater we know. Go to WOHW.com and purchase a book. He's written many books: Dangerous Danny Davis, Tito Santana, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Vader, Kamala, Sabu, and so many more. Make sure you check it out for the biggest hater we know, Kenny Casanova. Yeah, that was just terrible. That's not even answering the question, Elio.
And then we had from TJ Logan from WPOV Global says, Shayna is the Shawn of almost the whole division. So much talent and potential. Her only disadvantage is her age.
Yeah, you know, he said that on Global, and when I looked at it, Shayna Baszler's 38 years old, Elio. So she's climbing up there.
I think Asuka is like just a little older than her. So she's up there as well.
Be. Yeah, and look, but Nia Jax, Elio, is 36. So it's not the age thing, I don't think plays as big a role as what TJ thought. Because they're both up there. So I think Shayna, like, I know he picked Shayna because you know what? She is the better of the two. But the age thing, I don't think. Listen, age is but a number right now. that's what I like.
All right, and those are the comments.
All right. Well, we reached the result, and our results were an astounding 88% went with Shayna Baszler.
Wow.
12% went with Nia Jax.
Okay.
Yeah. So that shows you that people are on the Shayna Baszler bandwagon there. They want to see Shayna become the Shawn of the group. All right, next up on our poll, we have the Survivor Series teams, the generational Survivor Series team. Elio, you, myself, Tony Diaz, and Andy Anderson picked our Survivor Series teams, and we asked the fans, which WPOV member has the better teams? Now, I'm going to start with last place and then to third place. And then what we'll do is we'll take the top two, and you and me, we're going to vote on who has the better team.
Okay.
Elio, I'm going to tell you right now, it's bad news for you and me. With 0% of the vote, Rick Serrano the third's team.
Oh no. What?
My team of Bret Hart, Mankind, Drew McIntyre, Kurt Angle, and Roddy Piper didn't get a single vote, Elio.
How can you go wrong with Bret Hart and Roddy Piper?
Right? That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Maybe it was my Mankind pick. I don't know. Elio, your team didn't do so much better. 17% of the vote. Your team of Roman Reigns, Eddie Guerrero, Undertaker, Bret Hart, and Randy Savage. Which again, how can you go wrong with Eddie Guerrero and Randy Savage?
Right?
You know, I mean, what is going on, people? The top two teams was Tony Diaz and Andy Anderson. Andy's team was The Undertaker, Eddie Guerrero, Andre the Giant, The Fiend, and HBK, which, all right, on paper, that's a pretty solid team. But is Undertaker and Andre going to be able to coexist? Is The Undertaker and The Fiend going to be able to coexist?
Definitely not. I don't see that happening.
No. And then who's going to outshine the other, Eddie Guerrero or HBK? See, I don't understand what these fans were thinking. I think you and I had the most cohesive teams. And then you look at this team, it's just an all-star team. Yeah, but it's not a team. They're not going to be able to.
I'll tell you, all four of these teams together are a lot better than the Raw team they have for Team Raw tomorrow night.
That's for sure. For sure. I'm with you on that. Tony Diaz has The Rock, Bret Hart, Andre the Giant, The Fiend, and Eddie Guerrero. Now, okay. Now, what happens when The Rock tries to put the sharpshooter on somebody? Bret Hart's going to punch him in the mouth, I think. Sure.
He's like, hey, why are you stealing my move?
Exactly.
I never do the rock bottom.
So let's read some of the comments, and then you and I are going to vote on who we think has a better team, okay?
All right, so Matt Novak says, sorry, Rick, but I'm with Elio on this one.
Wow, what a traitor. 38 lads, my ass.
Josh Sanders says, Andy has the best team. Rick, I believe, is the worst.
Who asked you, Josh Sanders? Who asked you? It's probably me because I probably tagged him.
and those are the only two comments that we have on that one.
That's the only two comments we want to hear. All right. For me, you know, I'm looking at Tony's team of Rock, Bret Hart, Andre, The Fiend, and Eddie Guerrero, and I'm looking at Andy's team of Undertaker, Eddie Guerrero, Andre, The Fiend, and HBK. Listen, as good as a team as Andy's is on paper, I think Tony has more of a cohesiveness. That's what I'm looking for in a Survivor Series team. I'm looking for a team that can coexist with each other. So for me, I'm going to have to give my vote to Team Tony. What about you, Elio?
I'm going to have to go with Team Tony because, like we just said, I don't think you can have a team with The Fiend and Undertaker coexisting.
Not at all. Yeah, and Andy, don't be such a mark. Yeah, I said it. Don't tell him I said that. Don't tell him I said that, Elio. Don't tell him. With that being said, Tony Diaz did receive 50% of the vote, Elio. Andy received 33%. You received 17%, and I received a big fat 0.
That's not cool.
Not cool at all. With that all being said, it is now time for the wrestling news from around the world. And before we do that, let's get into some birthdays.
Yahoo!
That's perfect. See, that's why do we need Miguel Cole? We got the human voice machine in Elio Cannella. All right, we only got a couple of birthdays today. Alpha turned 78 years old, Elio.
Wow.
Yeah, he looks 78. We saw him with Roman Reigns at Hell in a Cell.
Yep.
Definitely, he looks it.
I remember more of Sika's run. Like, I never got to see them together as the
Wild Samoans.
Yeah.
No, only old people like TJ Logan, Andy Anderson, and Tony Diaz get to see that. Also, the Bella Twins turned 37 years old.
I heard they want to come back and go for a run at the tag team titles.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Going after the tag titles.
I guess it's like something different, like than because we don't really have any like legitimate teams right now. That's true. And you know what? As somebody that also bashes the Bella Twins for a long time, I honestly am not upset at that. I would like to see them come back and go for the tag team titles and perhaps even win them.
Speaking of tag teams,
Twin Magic.
I have a question. Speaking of tag teams, what do you think of this team of Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce? That seems like an odd pairing.
It's ridiculous. Why would you even split up the Iconics then?
They don't even they have nothing in common, these two. I don't get it. Like, why would you put them together? Lacey Evans, first of all, I don't think you can put her in a tag team. She doesn't work within a tag team.
Yeah, no, I don't think it works at all. Yeah, I'm so with you. The Iconics definitely should have never broke up. Billie Kay, I feel bad for her because we said it on this show for a long time that Peyton Royce is the star they're looking for. Me and Tony disagreed with that, though. We thought Billie Kay was the superstar that they were looking for. But we definitely said not to split them up. They split them up, and then you put her with Lacey Evans? Oh, golly. Doesn't make any sense. Well, anyway, Elio, with that being said, it is now time for the wrestling news from around the world. Bum, 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 bum. Some good news for Alexa Bliss. She gets engaged this week.
I saw that. So, yeah.
To Ryan Estrada?
Ryan Cabrera.
Ryan Cabrera, that's right. Ryan Cabrera is a long time ago, and very short pop star. I mean, and weird pairing.
Must have been when I was in school because I don't remember him.
No, it was a very short period of time where it was a Ryan Cabrera kind of. Oh my God, Ryan Cabrera!
Oh, okay.
That was it. That's exactly how long it lasted. Also in the news this week, NXT War Games, December 6th. That's something to look forward to. I'm excited about that. What about you?
Yeah, I always been a fan of the War Games match, but so looking forward to that. Wasn't there something else around that time as well? Or
yeah, they're doing the Shotzi Blackheart is gonna have her team on War Games against Candice LeRae's team. So that's cool.
Well, no, I thought I saw like another event, or maybe I have the wrong date. But I thought.
Oh no! AEW Winter is Coming, December 2nd.
Yeah, December 2nd. That's right.
Yeah. So which is weird. I mean, why steal a Game of Thrones?
I thought because actually NXT UK was supposed to have a takeover on October 25th, and Hell in a Cell was on the same date.
Wow.
That's why I got confused. I thought they were having two events on December 6th as well.
Oh wow, that truly would have been War Games right there.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. NXT War Games versus AEW Winter is Coming. It's on the same day. Imagine, right? Imagine it was on the same day, December 6th.
Okay,
Which show do you watch?
Ooh, they're on like the same time.
Same time, everything.
That's tough. I definitely wouldn't do picture in picture. You know what? I'd be more interested in War Games because I've always been like a fan of the War Games match and the concept. So
okay, but remember this, Elio. The main event is Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley. So you're gonna watch War Games over Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley?
For that, I would actually do a picture-in-picture, or I'd have two separate, because I'm watching them online, I'd have two separate browsers open, one for one and one for the other.
Wow, okay.
Have them side by side.
Elio is definitely going to go side by side. For me, I would definitely pick Winter is Coming. I'm sorry. Moxley, as much as I love War Games, Moxley Omega is something I am looking forward to. Speaking of moving, the Thunderdome is moving to Tropicana Field from the Amway Center. So the Amway Center is where the Orlando Magic play, and they're getting ready to start their season up. So they're going to be moving from a basketball court to a baseball field for the Tampa Bay Rays. And baseball doesn't start up again until April.
I don't know how much different that's going to be, though. It's still a Thunderdome.
It is a Thunderdome, but it's a stadium. So it's going to be a lot bigger. So the Amway Center is a lot smaller than a baseball field. So it's going to be a lot more spacious. So they're going to have a lot of things they can do, some cool things. Maybe start inviting fans in. like they do at AEW.
That'll be good. They also do have an NXT. They have like some fans in attendance.
Yes, they do. So that's definitely something to look forward to. Rumors. Rumor has it we're not going to be doing rumors until Tony comes back. So we'll look into that unless we get a really fat, nice rumor that we want to see. Moving on to injury, Arturo Ruas tore his bicep this week going up against Kushida on NXT. And bicep tears can take up to 6 to 8 weeks to recover from, or I think, no, 6 to 8 months. I'm sorry. I remember Drew McIntyre tore his bicep and he was out for about 6 months before getting called up. I think when Drew McIntyre tore his bicep, I think they called an audible that gave Andrade Cien Almas at the time the title.
Oh, okay, that's how he got the title. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Right. That's where that happened. All right. Let's go into our hot tag news of the week this week, Elio. We got Undertaker's greatest moments.
Yeah.
Now, before we get into our Undertaker's 30th anniversary moments, our favorite moments of the Undertaker, let's go into some of the comments that we had from our listeners. What did some of the people say?
All right, so Clay Cummings says, there are so many, but my personal favorite is his Mania 25 match with Shawn Michaels. Definitely a game changer. Yes. His dive outside landed right on the cameraman was insane. To me, Taker definitely is one of the greats.
Yes, for sure. Now, Elio, that dive onto the cameraman, oh my God.
Yeah.
that wasn't intentional. He just like crashed and burned at that point. But that match with HBK, woo! One of the greatest matches, man. One of the greatest. What else we got?
Bill Pierce says, personally, my 2 times I faced him.
Yes. So Bill Pierce, for those of you that don't know, is a longtime wrestler. Worked in the WWF from 90 to 92. Worked for ECW, was an ECW former tag team champion.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he's wrestled The Undertaker. And I mean, yeah, he got his ass kicked and yeah, he lost, but how many people can say that they fought The Undertaker?
Yep.
You know, so that's that. I mean, when you ask what is the greatest Undertaker moment, I mean, you gotta say that's your greatest Undertaker moment, of course. I mean, I fought him. What else you got?
And last comment from Josh Sanders. I love Ministry of Darkness Undertaker, and even though Vince ruined it, my favorite is when he was trying to crucify Stone Cold.
Oh yes.
I remember that episode.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
that was definitely awesome. Fun fact: Undertaker did not like Ministry of Darkness Undertaker.
Wow.
He said that was his least favorite character. Because he is religious,
right?
And he felt like that was coming into his religion and his religious beliefs.
Okay.
For me, it was one of my favorites. Honestly,
I enjoyed the Ministry of Darkness.
Yes, yeah. I mean the a la mala, no me entiende. Speaking Latin and all that stuff. Come on,
actually,
man.
Okay, fun trivia fact for you. That chant you just did from there, it actually comes from a movie from 1981, Excalibur.
Wow. Because
when my friend sent me a clip and it had that exact chant in it.
Wow, that is so cool. You know what? Next week, let's translate it and figure it out what it says.
Okay.
All right, we'll do that. That is awesome. Yeah, Excalibur. Great movie, 1981. Interesting. But yeah, you know, Ministry of Darkness Undertaker, I loved it. I loved the theme song. I loved the badassery that they had. Yeah. Once they went to corporate ministry, that's when they lost me.
That kind of got to NWO type level because they kept bringing people in. They kept branching off into their own factions.
And, you know, Gangrel said, you know, when the ministry joined the corporation, he was like, yeah, our time is up, guys. He told Edge and Christian that we're not going to be lasting too much longer because there's just too many people. So they were just background people at that point. But for me, Elio, my favorite match of the Undertakers. Now, there's a lot, but for me, I broke it down to two of them. First of all, I love Ministry of Darkness Undertaker. It's my favorite Undertaker character.
Yep.
But I'll tell you this. Undertaker versus Triple H, Hell in a Cell, end of an era match at WrestleMania 28.
Great
One
match.
of the greatest storytelling matches I've ever seen in my lifetime. I think that's when Undertaker should have called it quits, in my opinion. He should have remained undefeated at WrestleMania. Before I tell my second one, what is one of your favorite Undertaker moments?
Okay, so Ministry of Darkness was one of my favorites. But one match that I really liked, this is from Royal Rumble 94, the casket match, Undertaker Yokozuna. At the end of that match, it took like 10 guys to get Undertaker into the casket, and then the green mist coming out of the casket, and then all the lights went off. He appears on the Titantron or the big screen. Yes. So yeah, that was really memorable for me.
Yeah, that definitely was one of those most memorable moments.
And when he first shows up on the screen, you hear it's like dead silence in the arena, and then he just like turns his head and opens his eyes, and that was
that was definitely one of those great moments that will live forever with the Undertaker, especially with that giant casket he had to make.
Right. He was busy at work there.
My other moment, I have to say, Mankind defeating the Undertaker at the '96 SummerSlam, the Boiler Room Brawl.
Oh yeah,
I think. First of all, you know what, Elio? I may be in the minority here. I'm gonna say Undertaker's greatest rival was Mankind, and not because of the Hell in a Cell match, but because of what they did in 1996.
No, I remember when Mankind debuted the night after WrestleMania, and he just like out of nowhere attacks the Undertaker. I've never seen anyone take Undertaker out like that.
Yeah, it was definitely badass to the extreme. And now, one of my personal favorite moments of the Undertaker was I went to the Raw before WrestleMania 32, where Undertaker was fighting Shane, and when I tell you goosebumps, when you hear that dong, like there's nothing else. Like my wife was with me and she was like, "You're like a child right now, like gleaming from ear to ear with this grin and just smiling." And I'm just like, I know, it's so great, isn't it? But it was. I mean, Shane did jump through a table and elbow dropped Undertaker, which was okay, but to be there and see the Undertaker in person was just amazing, man. Yep. Do you have any other Undertaker moments?
This one's not a moment per se. This is actually a story like that, an Undertaker related story from school.
Okay, go ahead.
So Halloween's like already done, but this ties in. Now, they were at this time they were getting pictures together to put in the yearbook. And so one of the people that was running the yearbook wanted to take a picture of me, right? So that day we went to school dressed in our Halloween costumes. So they wanted to take a picture, which I tried tracking the person down and never got that picture and it was pretty cool because I was dressed up as the Undertaker.
Jeez Louise, man.
I had the hat, I had the long coat, I had the gloves. My science teacher, this was like an add-on. My grade 11 science teacher, now he was yelling, he would always yell at the class to stop talking and do their work. So then after he quieted everyone down, he comes over to where me and my friends are sitting. And he starts talking to us, and I'm looking at him like, you just told everyone to do their work. And he's like, well, no, it's okay. I know you guys always do your work, so you can talk. I'm like, okay. So he starts talking WWF with us.
Nice.
And then he's looking at my costume. He's like, I thought the Undertaker's gloves were orange.
What?
I'm like, I think he punched a hole through your TV screen. They were never orange.
Yeah, never orange.
But like, it was just cool. Like this guy, he would tell the rest of the class to stop talking, that he would just like come over and talk wrestling with me and my friends.
That is awesome. You know, as an educator myself, I love talking to my students about wrestling. It's just one of those things that you can bond with. I think one of the stigmas of wrestling, and I mentioned this on our upcoming episode of Wrestling POV Quarantine, which we talk about holds and finishes, but I also talked about the stigma of wrestling and how wrestling fans tend to not want to talk wrestling with each other in public.
And I don't get it.
I don't get, like, we need to embrace this, guys.
And the ones who are not wrestling fans, they look at us and they're like, "Oh, you're such a nerd. You're such a geek. You watch wrestling. You watch that wrestling crap." It's
and you know, yes, I am.
And then years later, okay, this is what gets me. They're in school. They were the ones that used to make fun of me for watching wrestling. Years later, they're on Instagram posting like pictures of Randy Savage or whatever on their Instagram stories.
So it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, guys. Let's just all come together. Elio, that's a great story. You know what we need to do, Elio? We need to track down that guy that took that picture of you, and we need to get that picture. So wherever you are in Toronto, Canada, we're gonna find you. We want the picture.
I don't know. I mean, I bet I really hate when they take the pictures. They never add it to the yearbook. They only add their friends' pictures to the yearbook.
Oh yeah, that's always the case.
I think this was one of those cases where they just added their friend's picture. They forgot the rest.
Yeah, for sure. But definitely, we're gonna track them down, and we're gonna get that Undertaker picture back for you, Elio. I think what we'll do is when we find it, we're gonna post it up on our page, and we're gonna have a good look at it.
If we find it.
If we find it.
Yeah.
With that being said, you know, Elio, let's just wrap up our hot tag news for Undertaker. Undertaker, 30th anniversary. Do you think this is the end of the Undertaker? Are we ending it this Sunday at Survivor Series, or are we gonna go one more match at WrestleMania?
I don't want to see this guy anymore. Like, just like stop. Like, when this is the Undertaker. When he first debuted, he had some great matches. Not all of them were like stellar matches, but now, like in the past few years, like as he's gotten older, they've not been as great. So I want to say yes, but I have a feeling we're gonna see one more. I don't know.
All right,
it's hard to say.
I mean, clearly it feels like we're gonna get one more match. I don't think it ends at Survivor Series. I think it's last Survivor Series.
He always says he's done, and then he somehow makes a return in one form or other.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, guys, make sure you go to prowrestlingtees.com/wrestling POV and purchase a shirt today for $19.99. Yeah, we got 4 different t-shirts. We got Wrestling POV, we got a Miguel Cole one, we got Wrestling POV Global, we got the Legend, and we got the Gentleman. And the Gentleman points downward towards your nether regions. Oh, so naughty. For sure, check that out at prowrestlingtees.com/wrestling POV. Also, we have go to collarandelbowbrand.com. Save yourself 10% by using promo code WPOV. Guys, we have so much content coming your way. I want you guys to understand that we are busting our asses here at Wrestling POV. The Wrestling POV family, we're all working really hard. 2021 is looking to be a new year for us, in which we're going to be releasing new content with more content and with all different levels of wrestling knowledge and so much fun. For now, though, we have Wrestling POV podcast, where every Saturday you're going to find me and Tony Diaz, and we discuss WWE in whole. We got every Friday Elio Cannella, TJ Logan, and Andy Anderson. They discuss the whereabouts of AEW Dynamite, and they discuss all of New Japan Pro Wrestling. They discuss some indie wrestling. They got some great interviews with indie wrestlers and MLW Impact. They cover it all. And let's not forget WPOV Quarantine every Tuesday. this Tuesday, Elio, man, you guys talked to the Bushwhacker Luke.
Yeah,
how awesome was that, man? That was crazy. I wish I was on there so I could get a virtual licking of the head.
I tell you, I was 15 years old again, hanging out with the Bushwhackers.
That was amazing, man. And then this upcoming week, I think special guest Savio Vega is going to be making another appearance, which is really, really cool. So make sure you guys check that out every Tuesday. This week coming up, we got holds and finishes. I'm on there with Elio, with Andy, with TJ, with Otto from what's it called? Alberta Wrestling Academy, AWA.
Yep.
He's the head trainer there along with Bruce Hart, which is an amazing thing. He's a great guy, great interview. Make sure you guys check that out on Tuesdays on YouTube, Facebook for the video messages and for the video things. And also check it out on audio on iTunes, YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn Radio for free. Elio, tell the people where they can find us on social media.
So on social media, you can write to us on Facebook at Wrestling POV Podcast, Instagram Wrestling POV 1, and Twitter at Wrestling POV.
Nice. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys check us out. Make sure you give us a like. Make sure you follow us and like what we got. You know what I'm saying? Let your family know. Let your mommy, your daddy, your bald-headed granny, let them know. Hey, check out Wrestling POV Podcast. We got it all. They got it all over there. All right. Elio, with that being said, it is now time for This Week in Wrestling.
All right.
Let's get raw.
All right.
Elio, what was the low moment of Monday Night Raw this week?
For me, I have two actually. I have I believe it was like the 6-woman tag match with Lana. Again, they put Lana through a table.
Yeah, for 9 weeks in a row.
And Retribution versus Team Raw. This has to be the worst Team Raw I have ever seen put together.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And unfortunately, Elio, I think they're going to win.
Just know, I probably prefer the SmackDown team much better. I mean, it looks more cohesive. These guys can't even get along with each other.
Yeah,
and what's with the nicknames? The Mongoose, Fireface.
Oh my God! Yeah, the Skipper. But it was a funny moment when AJ was like, "You speak English?"
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh man. Elio, for me, the low moments of Raw was the opening Drew McIntyre, Orton, and Miz promo. I gave that a 1. I was not feeling it. I also gave a 1 to the 6-woman tag match, Asuka, Mandy, Dana defeating Lana, Nia, and Shayna. Mandy looks like she's gonna be out of action for a little while because of Nia Jax last week. Threw her out the ring.
And see, this is where I was talking. Oh, hold on. This is where I was talking about whether Shayna can be a face or not, because she's like, did you really have to injure Mandy that bad?
Exactly. That's where.
What do we have here?
What do we have here?
Miguel's best friend. What's going on?
TJ Logan. Oh man. TJ Logan has joined us from the nether regions of Andy's buttocks.
What?
Now, Rick. Keep your little fantasies to yourself.
Listen,
I know
man.
you dream of the two Canadians.
I got some issues.
Covered in Crisco oil. I know this.
I got some issues with you
guys. You
guys.
got issues. I believe you have issues.
Yes, I do. But I got some issues with you. I said it in the beginning of the show.
Oh.
You didn't stick up for me, man. You or Elio didn't stick up for me when Andy went on a tirade calling me a cowboy. I don't want to be a cowboy.
Well, I don't know.
Jerry Seinfeld reference.
I thought you'd want to be a cowboy.
Yeah. Well, we're finishing up our This Week in Raw. Right now, Elio, what were your high moments of Monday Night Raw this week?
So, you know what? Maybe it's just me, but I kind of found the Firefly Funhouse. I gave that in 2 because the first time I saw it, I'm like, what is this? And then I went back and watched it. I'm like, okay, it's not as bad as it looked the first time.
All right. Yeah. This week's Firefly Funhouse, I was not feeling it. I was struggling to find something. But you know what, Elio? My highest point. Come on, man. Drew McIntyre defeating Randy Orton to become.
I gave that one a 3.
I gave that one a 3.5, the highest mark of the night, 3.5. And even at the end of the match, I don't know if you noticed, when they did the 3 count, Randy Orton pat Drew McIntyre on the leg. And that was just like a sign of, here you go, brother. Good job. You know, you earned this kind of thing. And I don't think the average wrestling fan can catch that. But that's a pretty cool moment right there between Orton and Drew. Just for reference, Bray Wyatt defeating The Miz. I think the storytelling in that match was amazing. Mm-hmm. I think having Alexa really like, she is insane, and I love it.
I like that ending when she was like over on the other side of the barricades.
Yep.
She like just like slowly creeps up with that smile on her face, starts walking along.
It's just perfect. For me, Monday Night Raw this week wasn't terrible. I wasn't that upset with it. I thought it was pretty good. It started off slow and ended very strong. So I gave Monday Night Raw this week a 2.1. What about you?
Okay, I gave it a 1.9 just because of the 2 ones that I gave it.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. And also, just another mention, Angel Garza's promos backstage with these roses and everything. What do you think they're doing with this?
I'm not understanding where they're going with that.
Another Lothario, like that's exactly what we need. Another misogynist man in the world of professional wrestling. It is now time for NXT POV. Mamma mia! For me this week, the lowest moment of NXT has to be Leon Ruff defeating Johnny Gargano. Now, listen, guys, I gave it last week. I gave it the great moment. I gave it a 3. I was just like, yes, Leon Ruff won the title. Fine. But don't do it to me again. And then don't drag it out and make this match as long as you did. I gave this match a 1. I was not feeling it. Actually, that wasn't even my lowest moment. I'm sorry. My lowest moment was Cameron Grimes versus Dexter Loomis in a blindfold match.
Oh, you don't like that?
Hell no. And listen, we've had some great blindfold matches. Jake the Snake.
That was not a great. No.
Jake the Snake versus Rick Martel. No, we didn't like that match.
Blindfold matches usually are terrible. Can you really call this a blindfold match? This is more like a sack on the head match. Really?
It was a sack on the head match for sure. I gave that a 0.5. What was your low moment, TJ? What did you think of NXT? What was the lowest moment for you?
Oh man, you know what? Okay, it was a tough one because I really super enjoyed the first part with Leon Ruff in the beginning when they like had
Damian Priest.
The Damian Priest stuff was funny. I liked how they worked some of that out. Building Leon to be like the tough guy and stuff like trying to fight back. I gotta say though, when you see glaring things happen, like things you can't suspend your disbelief, like Leon Ruff like leaped like 3 feet over Johnny Gargano, and Gargano sold it like he was nailed in the head with a sledgehammer.
Yes,
which was terrible. The Timothy Thatcher match itself, I thought they could have done more with. I don't know. Maybe it was the lowest part for me, I'm going to have to say, because this was a really strong episode. There wasn't a lot I hated in this. Yeah, the Leon Ruff match wasn't the greatest, but it's still building a story in there, which I did enjoy.
Okay.
And it puts him in a weird position now, right? I mean, it was tough enough that he was going to have to fight Gargano one-on-one. Now he's got to fight Priest and Gargano one-on-one.
I liked William Regal's reaction after Leon Ruff slapped the team release. He's like, "You deserve that."
Yes, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Elio, what was your lowest moment of NXT this week?
I gave it to Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae versus Case Catanzaro and Kaden Carter.
Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty bad too. It wasn't the greatest.
That was pretty rough. I also to mention about the Thatcher match, I just felt like it was too long with Austin Gray. Like you should have ran right through this dude, and then Ciampa comes out. I can't wait to see Ciampa versus Thatcher though. That is going to be a sick matchup.
Well, that being said, Rick, what did you think of when the reaction Timothy Thatcher had?
Oh, it was great.
When Ciampa came out, all of a sudden he seriously looked like he was scared of Ciampa, but not the usual chicken shit runaway stuff, but like whoa, you know.
Yeah,
I found
like,
that
I don't have
unique.
any beef with you. I don't have a problem with you. Like
that. Yet he had the fear in there.
Yep. I feel it. I loved it. My highest moment of NXT this week, I gave it to Kushida defeating Arturo Ruas, and it's so upsetting that Ruas got hurt because I felt like he can be a mainstay on NXT, but now he's got a torn bicep, gonna be out 6 to 8 months. It's detrimental to his career, man. Like, this was a huge moment for him. Also, I have to say the ending promo, Finn Balor, Pat McAfee, and Undisputed Era coming out. I thought that was badass. I gave that a 3. Elio, what was your highest moments of NXT this week?
My highest moment, that was one of them, the Finn Balor, and I did one. I had Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai.
Nice. Well, what about? So now people are saying, Elio, that Rhea Ripley may be done with NXT. Where do you see her going? Where do you see her landing?
That's what I heard. I really hope that she doesn't go to Raw. I could see her on SmackDown.
Okay. I have something that may change your mind on that. All right. I'll talk about it when we talk about SmackDown. TJ, what was your highest moment of NXT this week?
Well, definitely really enjoyed the women's match. I thought it was really well done. Love the fact, I'm sorry to say this, but when you see wrestlers wearing piercings and weird crap, you always think, wow, why did they think that through? Like, wouldn't that hurt if that got, and then we see, we see her, Ripley get her ear ripped. I thought that was like, oh, yuck. But a great match, a very great match. And I can't believe I'm going to say this because first of all, I do not the biggest fans of the two wrestlers involved. Hate this kind of match, but the sack on a head match I found amusing. I found it was a whole different way to do this.
I just like that part though where Cameron Grimes thought that it was Dexter Lumis behind it because Robin starts beating up the referee.
Yes, why can't the Young Bucks ever do that? Anyway, I know it's like I can't stand Dexter Lumis, and I can't stand Cameron Grimes is up and down with me. Okay. Yeah. But what a funny way to present this tired old match. I mean, these like blindfold matches are the stupidest matches in the world. They're never fun because in realism, really guys tripping over each other to grab each other is not a fun thing to watch, right? But what a weird way to present this. I found it interesting. I found it hilarious that Grimes kept trying to attack Lumis, and even when he didn't have a thing on, he still misses Lumis. I found it interesting. It was okay for me. But yeah, I think the highlights still have to. And I just want to say, the Leon Ruff thing. All right, I have to ask Rick. Okay.
Yep.
Where do you see this going? Is this just a way to get the belt back onto Priest? Is Ruff actually? I mean, is he just going to be jumped to the wayside? You know, this feels to me like remember when they had that Zach Gowen guy where they pushed him for 3 weeks and then buried and gone, and you know, where do you see this going?
No, I definitely see it like that. I think Leon Ruff has finally. For me, and I've said this on the show before, Leon Ruff was the Barry Horowitz of NXT, and I really appreciated him, and I loved that he got the contract. He got the 3-year contract. I honestly think this is the end for him as in North American Championship. He's definitely losing to Damian Priest or Johnny Gargano. But I wouldn't say it's the end for him. I maybe put him in a tag team, maybe have him just be the jobber that we know he can be, but you know what? A respectable jobber. Like we know that he can win a big one. We know he can shock you. So maybe every now and then have him win a match, you know? But listen, the guy can work. He worked at Evolve. I saw some of his matches at Evolve before. He's definitely a great athlete and he can move around the ring. He's very unique. But the thing is, 64
pounds of him.
Yes, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So he is a stretched out version of Marco Stunt, in my opinion.
My.
But yeah, you know, before we move on to AEW, I want to say this: the Boa and William Regal segment. I am so captured by this moment. What is
I
Boa?
I don't know.
What is he talking about? Who is she?
I was actually going to ask what that whole thing was about last week with that one guy coming out.
Yeah, with the ancient Chinese dude coming out.
I want to know where they're going with this.
Well, this leads to two things, right? Either one, they're going to introduce some crazy woman wrestler out of nowhere, a debut for someone, or, which I probably think, Zaya's got a whole new attitude, a new packaging. She's been unleashed or something.
Yeah.
Because she definitely needs something. Boy, she definitely needs something.
Yeah, and I'm telling you right now, I'm happy for either one. That's the way I look at it. Overall, I gave NXT this week a 1.9. Elio, what did you give it?
I went with a 2.707.
2.07. Okay, not bad. All right, it is now time for AEW Dynamite. Yeah. All right, AEW, the lowest moments for me. Oh my God, a 0.5. This Inner Circle go to Vegas bull crap. Oh my God, it was atrocious. And I'm just like, this is such a great episode of AEW, and you guys are ruining it. You're ruining it. Elio, I'm pretty sure I know where you're going to answer. What your answer is. What is your lowest moment of AEW this week?
As funny as some of it was entertaining, like that has to be a low point for me.
Definitely a low point. Tom, TJ, what do you think? What's your lowest point of AEW?
I bitched about this on Global. Andy seems to be the only person who found this like interesting and fun. And if I seem to remember, Elio seemed to like the homage a lot. To,
now that
he's in a room of hostiles, he seems to be changing his guts pretty quickly here.
I know. But, I said I found something funny, the Hangover parody and stuff.
Yeah, no, this was.
But the whole thing, like everything else, I just.
In one sense, okay, I'm going to soften a bit from what I said on Global. Not for the fact that I didn't enjoy this at all. Really did not enjoy this at all. But it's the same kind of crap that WWE does now and then, right? And guys, Andy made a point. Some people want to see the fun parts, not too much, but a bit of the fun parts of wrestlers now and then. There were some, I guess, if you took it apart as just a skit, there was some funny stuff on there.
Yeah.
There was some,
That's
for me being Mr. Wrestling watcher, it bothered me to have such a great episode kind of brought down with two, not just even one, but two segments of this nonsense. So not my bag.
For sure, my lowest point. And you know what? I listened to you guys' show on Friday. You know what? Young Bucks versus defeating Top Flight. I gave this a 4. This was a phenomenal matchup. I don't agree with Andy with his view on the Young Bucks and Top Flight. I get it. He's a curmudgeon, and he looks at like this, like flips and all that. It wasn't just flips, man. They were telling a story. The psychology was there.
Match.
Yeah, it was a very good match. Very
solid. And you know what? And honestly, I'm honestly feeling, and I've always said it, that brothers are the best teams. Family members are the best teams because they can trust each other. Look at what we got with Penta and Rey Fenix last week. Mm-hmm. Such a great match. When we put brothers in a ring, Bret Hart, Owen Hart, when they ever faced off against each other, how great it was. When they tagged together, how great it was. Because they trust each other to the fullest level. So when you put a team 21 and 19 years old from Top Flight, 21 and 19, let that sink in for you for a second. Some people start training at 19. This kid was hopping at least 6-7 feet in the air over the Young Bucks. I mean, Young Bucks are crazy. Not 7 feet tall,
well, but he 3 feet tall. But
he cleared them by a good 2 feet. Oh my God, this was a great match. Gave it a 4. That was my highest moment. I just also have to mention this Moxie promo, amazing. I loved it. Talking about how he's the good guy and how he's tired, he's beaten up, but he's going to keep fighting because he's the good guy. Also, I have to say, John Silver and Anna Jay, wow. Wow. For somebody like me who crapped, and you know what, Elio? I got some more business with you because I did answer the question about John Silver. They said, yes, no, or who? I said who, and I said because he's just a steroided out Marco stunt. So I did answer the question. But John Silver really caught me. He's so captivating in this promo. And I was just like, okay, I'm with it. And then Anna Jay coming in saying she's coming after Sheeta. Okay, I'm also with that.
I loved Anna Jay standing there, like as if she was at the edge of a car wreck going, holy crap, he's going insane.
But I'm glad because for psychology purposes that she did not laugh or that she did not roll her eyes. Yeah. Like she's part of this.
And it looked like she came close, but yes, she held herself together.
She definitely did. I was like, okay, is she gonna do it? Is she all right, we're good. She didn't do it. Elio, what is your high moment of AEW this week?
High moment I gave to the Top Flight Young Bucks match.
Okay. And what about anything it
was just a really great match, great storytelling. That's all I have for that one. Just a great match, great storytelling overall.
Well,
awesome.
As you guys have been both talking about this match, I have a question for Rick. Okay, yes. I'm sorry to intrude in that. So now we got Top Flight, right? And I mean, they had this great package in the beginning that explained who they are, sold who they are, helped develop who they are, right? Then there's obviously going to be comparisons here to Private Party, okay? Another team that's akin in their style and their whatnot. Yet for me, Private Party has fallen flat quite a bit. And Top Flight seemed to really capture me. And I tried to think in my head, and I want to ask your opinion about this, okay?
Yes.
And I wanted to say, first of all, obviously it sounds like you're more of a proponent for Top Flight.
Yes, for sure. Sure.
Okay. And I think for me, the reason why I enjoy Top Flight more, and I was trying to explain to Andy, was the fact that Top Flight come off as a team.
Yes.
As two guys working together, a machine, almost like FTR used to be presented. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, which I think they're failing a little bit right now, but they came out as a machine, like the Road Warriors. You never knew, so many teams that would come out in the old days, you'd be like, oh, that's that dude and that dude. And eventually they're going to break up, turn on each other, whatever. But there are only a few teams who were teams, right? Top Flight had the feeling of me. Sure, they each had moves and stuff, but it always felt like Private Party is like, okay, buddy, your turn. Go in, sell your crap, then tag me in. I'll go do my moves. And, instead, it didn't seem like a set formula. It felt like a real team juggernauting through, doing what they have to do. And I think that if they can keep that, wouldn't that be great? That's how you bring back tag team wrestling.
For sure. And I'm with you on that 100%. I think Top Flight has everything they need to be a top team. And like you said, with the Street Profits diet, I really think Private Party is just, they don't have it. I'm sorry. I know the House of Glory people will definitely disagree with me because that's where they came from. But honestly, I don't see it. I don't see it at all. Overall, I gave AEW this week a 2.3. Elio.
I went with a 2.1.
2.1. Interesting.
Where's my home? You didn't give me a highlight of the day. You gave me a low light, but you didn't give me no highlight.
What's your highlight? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
What's your highlight?
Well, only saying this because I really thought this was a very solid, good match. Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa.
Absolutely. Yep. Yes. That was my second highest. I gave it a 3.
Have we sold you on, have you buying the Serena Deeb ticket yet? Or are you still not, though, we talked about this on the show, why we felt that maybe you weren't really buying into Serena Deeb so much. And the fact is she dresses a little generic.
Yes.
And she's a solid wrestler, but she's not flashy enough to grab attention with some moves. She doesn't have enough flashy impact moves. And I get that. Yeah,
that's exactly what it is. In a nutshell, you look at her and you're just like, she's a champ. I don't know.
But
I think.
Let's go ahead.
But I think Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, I'm definitely looking forward to that. That's definitely going to be something to look forward to, and maybe, hopefully, Thunder Rosa can bring the wrestler out of Britt Baker and make something of her. Yes.
I have to say one of the highlights of just like the part. If we had to say what part grabbed me the most in this whole show, was the part where after Thunder Rosa had been defeated and she slid out of the ring and she acted like she was very hurt, a little disorientated. She kind of just walked forward and then out of nowhere jumped Britt Baker. You did not see it coming, which was so awesome. And
Absolutely.
I thought it was because usually you just see that shit a mile away when someone jumps out, oh, they're going to jump somebody and blah, blah, blah. She played it so well that I really enjoyed it. The fight was between them. There was parts of it that were like, really 10 referees and Thunder Rosa keeps running through. Okay. But other than that though, I thought it was a very solid match between these ladies. And like I said, I get the thing with Deeb, but I think if Deeb just had changed her look slightly and maybe threw in some cool moves, she has the stuff and the guts to carry on full matches and be a credible champion.
For sure. I agree with you. Let's get into this Wednesday Night Delight where we have NXT go head-to-head against AEW. Currently, NXT is ahead 4 to AEW's 2. Now, listen, AEW, a solid show. NXT, solid show. But for me, I'm going to give the slight edge to AEW this week. I think AEW was a great show from beginning to almost the end because Team Taz ended the show. But I think it was a great show from the beginning to the end. Pac defeating Blade, that was also another good match that we didn't mention. Even Orange Cassidy defeating Kip Sabian. I wasn't angry at it. I wasn't upset. I gave it a 2. So I thought it was a great match. The thing is with NXT, too much Gargano, too much rough. Cameron Grimes and Loomis didn't sell me on anything. But everything else was really good. And then like Elio said, Candice LeRae and Hartwell defeating Carter and Catanzaro. So there was more good moments in AEW than NXT for me. Now, TJ, where are you going with this?
Let Elio go first because I have to make my last decision here. I was really leaning to something, but you also brought up some points, so I'm battling them in my head right now. And let Elio go, and then I'm just curious.
No, okay. Initially, I went with NXT, but now that you bring up all these points, I'm starting to I might have to go with AEW this week with all the points you just brought up about the show.
Wow.
You see, that's what I do.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
I got to say this then. Boy, I watched AEW, and we've had some brutal AEWs for the last couple of weeks. And I watched this show, and I was like, oh my goodness, thank God, we're going to have a competitive competition here for this week, right? Then I sat down and watched NXT. Yes, the matches and stuff on AEW were better, right? But there was something about the flow of NXT, the opening part, into the stupidness with Loomis. Those are guys I don't even like, but they made me laugh and made me go into it. At the end, I sat there and went, oh, shit. Who the hell do I vote for? I was leaning towards NXT, and I've your points, Rick, on AEW, pretty amazing. But in the end, the way I always rate these shows it never really comes down to matches or this. It's which one gave me the better feel afterwards. Yeah. And as much as I loved AEW this week, I came out of NXT going, that was awesome. I had a good time. So I'm going to have to go. I know I'm losing here. I know you guys, it's obviously AEW win, but I'm going to throw in mine as NXT. Just because I have to be honest. I have to be honest.
All right, no, and that's all we asked for. It's your POV. We're not going to shit on you, even though you're wrong and you lost. NXT has lost to AEW this week, and now AEW's catching up. It's 4-3. AEW, let's just say this. Since we started this, AEW has never had a lead or has never been tied for a lead, ever. So next week is very important. And you know what? After next week, we have Winter is Coming. That is the opportunity.
Game of Thrones is back?
Yes. Oh, no. You didn't know?
I'm kidding.
So we got a couple more weeks. If they win next week, Winter is Coming. They have to win that week. So it's possible that in the next coming weeks, AEW can be on top of NXT for the first time ever, in our opinions, in our POVs. All right, it is now time for the SmackDown breakdown. Let's break it down, Elio. The lowest moment of SmackDown, well, there was a lot of them in my opinion. New Day, Sami Zayn, Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode promo in the beginning.
Terrible.
Terrible.
I am so done with the New Day. First of all, and even Dolph Ziggler even called them on this. They're like, you already had your farewell match, Shawn Smith. And you already had your farewell match, and they're like, "Well, that was as SmackDown superstars. Now we're Raw superstars." Like, it doesn't matter. Why are you here?
Exactly. Also, my low moments: Natalya defeating Tamina. Gave that a 1.
Yeah,
it's just like Tamina can't get any kind of respect. I get it. This was the moment to give Natalya that win, but I think it was bad storytelling. Let Natalya not get on Survivor Series team. I was saying that this was a moment for what's her name?
I would have replaced Natalya with Carmella because I've not felt this since she returned. Like, I don't know where they're going with this. Like, all she's done is attack Sasha Banks.
Well, I think that's where they're going with it. I think they're going with giving her the title or coming for the title. But I would have Elio. I think I would have went with Rhea Ripley on this one. Rhea Ripley looks like she's done with NXT. Why not put her on Team SmackDown? You know? And then what you can do is she takes the final spot from Natalya and then have Natalya start feuding with her after Survivor Series. I mean, it's there for you guys. Write the damn script. You listen to my show. You listen to us talk.
They listen.
Do it.
No, they all don't. They're not listening. All they do is hear us, but they don't listen.
Guys, I guarantee you that's probably what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
I there's no way Natalya is going to make it in. She has a history of getting on the team and never making it in.
That's true.
This is the opening. This is the Rhea Ripley opening.
Yep. But I do have to say this. The real lowest moment of this whole show, I gave a 0.5, was Sasha and Asuka's promo.
Jeez.
And you know what? Tony gets on Sasha's promo skills. Asuka is fucking terrible. Excuse my French. Fucking terrible. This was the worst Asuka promo. Oh, you didn't know? You can't see me?
Yeah, no. Where did that come from?
This was terrible. Asuka, this was a 0.5. I was disgusted. It was such a bad taste. I felt like I had poison mist in my mouth.
Like, just out of nowhere with the "you can't see me." I'm like, what? Trying to see this?
But you know what, Elio? I honestly think that Asuka is now turning heel. That's what it looks like because she didn't help Sasha. She just stood there, and they kept panning to her. And commentary didn't say anything about that. They kept talking about Carmella, but the camera kept panning to Asuka just standing there looking on. And I think that's where Rhea Ripley comes in. And unfortunately, I think Rhea Ripley's going to go to Raw, and she's going to be dealing with Asuka. Unfortunately, that's where I think Rhea Ripley goes. But
so you see Rhea Ripley as a face? As
a face on Monday Night Raw and taking out Asuka, taking the belts from Asuka. Or she could win the Rumble. The Rumble's right around the corner. You can have her join the Rumble. Elio, what was your lowest moment, and why was it Sasha and Asuka's promo?
My lowest moment, Natalya and Tamina, and the whole Asuka Sasha Banks segment. That was just terrible.
It was bad. My highest moments, it was only a 2.5, was Buddy Murphy defeating Seth Rollins and Daniel Bryan defeating Jey Uso. Gave both matches a 2.5. SmackDown for me, this was a terrible go-home show. The fact that they didn't have their teams completed yet was bad. There's no unity. You know, at least even though Raw's team is all falling apart, the men's team, SmackDown's team hasn't even gotten together and done anything together at all. You added Otis.
And that's a terrible final pick for
It's really bad. What was your high moments of SmackDown this week?
I gave it to Murphy and Seth Rollins, Dan Bryan, Jey Uso, and the contract signing.
All right. What was so great about this contract signing? For me, I wasn't a fan of it.
I don't know, just Roman Reigns' delivery, his promos lately, this whole new character he's got going on.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I can see that for sure. For me, overall though, SmackDown was my lowest rating. I gave it a 1.5 this week.
Okay.
What about you, Elio?
So when I gave it like just a 2.
All right, a 2. All right,
Yeah,
not bad.
just
All right.
yeah, right down the middle 2.
All right, let's go over our Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT. Currently, NXT's ahead 15 to Raw's 11 to SmackDown's 5. Elio, honestly, if I go by my ratings, I have Raw ahead, then NXT, then SmackDown. But I am willing to go back and forth between Raw and NXT. SmackDown is definitely not winning this week for me. It's definitely between Raw and NXT. What do you have?
Well, I had initially I had NXT Raw and SmackDown. SmackDown. No, I had initially NXT, SmackDown, and Raw. But looking at it now, I'm gonna have to switch Raw and SmackDown.
Okay, so you're going with
NXT Raw and SmackDown this week.
All right, you know what? I agree with you. I want to go with NXT, Raw, and SmackDown. NXT has just been running away with this lately. They were tied with Raw once upon a time at 11, currently at 16 to Raw's 11 to SmackDown's 5. It looks like NXT is having another good year.
I don't know why SmackDown's been so bad.
It's just been terrible, man. It's just been bad. Let's go into our WWE versus AEW, or like you guys like to say, the interpromotional, intergalactical, intercom. Let's go. We have this week, TJ, I don't know if you want to save your POV for your show, but you can give us a little sample of where you're leaning. We got Keith Lee versus Lance Archer.
Wow.
Elio?
Wow.
What do you got, Elio? What do you think?
Oh, this is a hard one. I'm gonna have to go with Lance Archer.
Okay, give me a reason why. Why are you going with Lance Archer?
Just based on like he's got AEW and JPW under his belt. Just like he's got that EBD claw, even though we know that claw is a stupid move on its own. But the way he does it, at least he just like puts his opponents down, and that's it.
No, you know what? I agree with you. I'm also going with Lance Archer over Keith Lee. I think Keith Lee, as big as he is, as great as he moves around the ring, his character is the cowardly lion. Oh, put him up, salutations. Oh, I cannot stand that. When I look at Lance Archer, I see the murder hawk. I see that everybody's gonna die. You know, that's just, I feel that character. I feel the anger and the strength, like we like to say, the strength and the strength that he has. It's just too much strength.
Keith Lee's just like so laid back, like greetings and salutations.
Yeah, it just doesn't go with who he is. I mean, it's just like a big teddy bear. But when you look at the Murder Hawk, Lance Archer, you're just like, okay. And then when you look at the body of work, you know, a lot of people look at these AEW, WWE battles and they just like, and Andy said this last week about Dolph Ziggler. Well, he said it this week on the show about Dolph Ziggler, that time is hurting him. And I agree with that. I think time is hurting him. But just because you didn't put as much time in as somebody else doesn't mean that you're worse than that person. And the way I look at it is Lance Archer's been doing this for a long fucking time too. And if you look at his body of work in New Japan, Impact, and stuff like that, all around where he's been, he's been doing damn good. So I got to go with Lance Archer on this one over Keith Lee. Now, TJ, what do you got?
Well, I think you have to look at the two guys. You take a look at Lance Archer, the Murder Hawk. I mean, his record and stuff. And if you are a lower preliminary guy, yes, you should be terrified because you're probably going to be stomped around by Lance Archer. If you're Moxie or any of the big guys, you've beaten Archer, so Murder Hawk that. On the flip side, you have Limitless. Yes, he's playing the stupid, but how long do these kind of characters really last, right? Sometimes Vince McMahon likes to put people into kind of a role for now. And I really do believe Limitless really is Keith Lee, because he's going to be shedding this by next year. There won't be the, it'll start to be a new presentation of him. And I think they're holding him back till his room and his time will come. Lance Archer has been around a gazillion years. He's had some good matches, but the bulk of his great matches are tag team runs with Davey Boy Smith Jr. in New Japan. He didn't do anything on his own there, really. He had a tiny run. He's been a tag team utility guy most of his career. And I really am not liking how they're putting him in AEW right now. The presentation has not been the potential. Boy, this is a tough one, because this could go either way. Keith Lee, he could honestly just stay this character and be whatever silliness he is for now. Lance Archer may never go forward or not. So I'm not gonna say my actual pick for now, because talking with you guys, I see the thing, but I'm gonna have to take a few days now to think about it, because right when you said it, I went Keith Lee, but then I don't watch enough WWE lately to see what they're developing him into. So I'm going to take some more time this week, go back and
absolutely,
and see what you guys are, because obviously you guys are really not seeing the Keith Lee. So maybe I'm missing something here.
Yeah. So fans, you guys get the chance to vote tomorrow. We're going to post up on our Facebook page for sure. We're going to have Keith Lee versus Lance Archer. And then on Friday, the global guys, Elio, Cannella, TJ Logan, Andy Anderson, will give more details of their POVs, and they will give their votes on who should win between Lance Archer and Keith Lee. With that being said, let's move on to our Survivor Series predicciones. All right, we're going to give our predictions for Survivor Series. And then after Survivor Series, look out for WPOV Aftermath, as we will be giving our Aftermath opinions about what Survivor Series was all about. The 30th anniversary of The Undertaker. All right, so this is not in any specific order, so don't kill me. We have AJ Styles, Keith Lee, Braun Strowman, Sheamus, and Matt Riddle on Team Raw versus Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, King Corbin, Seth Rollins, and Otis on Team SmackDown. We're going to go with Elio first. Elio, who wins this? What's your prediction?
Okay, before SmackDown, I was going with Team Raw, even though I really hate this team. I hate the stupid nicknames, like I said earlier. But I'm gonna have to go with them after SmackDown made their final pick on Friday night with Otis. That's a terrible choice.
Yeah, TJ, who you got? Team Raw, Team SmackDown?
I'm going to be honest. When it comes to Team Raw versus Team SmackDowns, I always go with who the fuck cares. It means nothing. These two matches actually mean nothing. So they wear red shirts, blue shirts. Oh, the guys who are hating each other just recently got traded over, and now they're best friends. Nah, I'm going to weigh out on those two guys. Don't really care about these two matches.
All right. For me, I'm going to go with Team Raw. I honestly think they have more cohesiveness, even though they've been falling apart at the seams. SmackDown hasn't even gone together, haven't even had a promo together. Let's go into our next matchup. Another favorite of TJ Logan's. It's the women's Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. We got Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Lana, Peyton Royce, and Lacey Evans versus Bianca Belair, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Bayley, and Natalya on Team SmackDown. TJ, dare I ask, who do you going to pick between Team Raw and Team SmackDown?
Well, you look on the Team Raw, you've got the strength and the power of, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler really coming together with the inexperience of Peyton Royce and Lacey Evans, which leads me to who the fuck cares?
All right. So, Elio, who are you picking?
This one, because I think Lacey Evans, Peyton Royce are terrible replacements. I'm going to go with Team SmackDown. I mean, you got Bianca Belair, Bayley, the Riot Squad. So I'm going with SmackDown.
All right. You know what? Honestly, I'm looking at this on paper, and I think what's going to happen is Lana is going to be the sole survivor, and she wins it and gains the respect of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler and still gets put through a table.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask, do you think she puts Nia through it? Everyone thinks this is building to Nia through it.
Yeah. No, there's no way she puts Nia through a table, in my opinion. I honestly, I think what happens is Lana wins it for her team.
Table crash number 9. Congratulations.
Number 10.
Oh, number 10. Oh, they're up to 10. Okay, I lost count. I lost count after 7.
So I think it's going to be Team Raw for this one as well. All right, we have Bobby Lashley, United States Champion, versus Sami Zayn. You know what? I'm going to pick Sami Zayn, and I'm going to pick him because I think Retribution gets involved and costs Bobby Lashley this match. And Zayn beating Bobby Lashley becomes more annoying and becomes more of a heel with that kind of a win. Elio, who do you got? Bobby Lashley, Sami Zayn?
I got Sami Zayn because after this, like, he can, with all the promos, he's going to start cutting, he go crazy, like we were saying, talking about how he beat Bobby Lashley. He's the best.
No, that's perfect. TJ, who you got?
Well, you know what? Every time I see Bobby Lashley, he comes out, he's this massive dude who commands so much attention. And he is like where personality goes to die, right? It's just like
I thought that was Kenny King.
Yeah, well, I think they actually might be distant cousins because this is a talent that you just can't pick up somewhere. Sami Zayn is very interesting. Yes, he's annoying, but he makes you look at him, makes you want to punch him in the mouth. I don't think it hurts Bobby Lashley to lose this belt or not. It really seems lately the United States belt, it's kind of a prop that doesn't mean as much as the wrestler carrying it. So I'm going to say that Sami Zayn takes this.
All right, interesting. Everybody went with Sami Zayn. Next up, we got the New Day versus New Day Light Street Profits. Elio, who do you got?
I'm gonna go with the Street Profits on this one. I'm just done with the whole New Day. Like, it worked back when they first formed, and now it's like 6 years later, and they're still stuck in the same roles that they've been doing for the past 6 years.
All right, yeah. TJ, who do you got?
All right, time for some analogy here, boys and girls. As a lot of people know that I'm a chef by trade. And this made me think of, as I'm trying to figure out who would I really want to pick for these, it made me think of two things. It's like the lesser of two evils, all right? If you make foie gras, you hold a duck down and you repeatedly feed it and feed it and feed it and feed it till it blows up, okay? It's not enjoying the food after the while. I mean, it's got obviously enjoying the first few things, but when you keep feeding it the same crap over and over, it eventually explodes and dies. And I think that's how I see the New Day. They've been forcing this garbage down us forever and ever. But on the flip side, the Street Profits is like being fed a turd right off the bat. So which way do you go with this? Do you go with the turd off the bat, or do you go with the same old crap that's going to kill you? I'm going to go with the New Day, because they always push the New Day, and I like them infinitesimally more than as much as I hate the Street Profits. So okay. I'm going to go with New Day. I don't want to. I never want to pick New Day in matches, but that's how I've been sunk to this low, as the Street Profits are that odious to me.
Yeah.
Okay. That I'll go with New Day.
So for me, I look at it this way. Big E's getting involved. One way or the other, Big E's going to be involved in this. Does Big E turn on the New Day?
Yeah.
Or does he turn on the Street Profits? So it's one of those things. If he turns on the Street Profits, he's a baby face and he's a New Day guy. But if he turns on the New Day, he becomes a heel and he doesn't have to deal with them anymore.
I see. I think he's going to turn on New Day.
All right, you think he's going to turn on the New Day?
Yeah.
I can't see it because you got Roman as the money. You got a lot of heels on SmackDown as it is. I think he stays the New Day, and I think he helps them defeat the Street Profits. I'm going to go with New Day on this one. All right, TJ, We got Asuka versus Sasha Banks. Who you got?
You may hate this, but I've got Asuka.
No.
I am not a Sasha Banks fan. I really don't enjoy her wrestling very much. I actually enjoy Asuka. I know her limited English really kills what kind of presentation she has. But I love Asuka. Right from the first day of NXT, I know they keep shoveling her around and stuff, but I know she's probably not going to win, but my heart's with Asuka.
Yeah, you know what? I honestly think Asuka's going to win this match because they disrespect Sasha so much. And I think Carmella definitely plays a big moment in here, and I think Rhea Ripley plays a part after the match.
Ooh.
So after the match, I think Rhea Ripley comes out and attacks Asuka to help Sasha Banks. Elio, who do you got? Asuka, Sasha Banks.
So Asuka, for her promos are terrible, but she makes up for it in her wrestling. So I'm gonna go with Asuka because I've always been a fan of Asuka's.
Okay, and in our last match, the main event, we got Drew McIntyre, the WWE Champion versus the Universal Champion, the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. Woo! This is a hard match to pick. You got Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, going against Drew McIntyre. You got Randy Orton's going to be slithering around. Maybe The Fiend. Does The Miz cash in? There's a lot of stuff happening. I think Roman wins. I think The Miz cashes in on Drew McIntyre and takes the title from Drew. That's my POV on this. Elio, what do you got?
I've got Roman Reigns winning this.
Okay, do you have a cash in? Do you got any interference?
I can see Orton getting involved, and Miz is gonna. I can see Miz running in after Orton interferes. Miz runs in and catches in.
Okay, TJ.
I go with Drew McIntyre on this one.
Wow, you gotta explain that one.
Yeah, I think it just makes much more sense. Roman Reigns right now is built as the villain on SmackDown.
Yes.
Okay, there's no doubt about it. He is the kingpin of bad right now. Okay, Drew, the presentation has been good, but not. I think the Randy Orton thing kind of sidetracked him a bit. So I think this gives him super cred by beating Roman and maybe setting up a potential WrestleMania down the road with these two as another recollide. I see Drew winning this. I see Orton. Actually, you know what? I don't see Orton interfering. I do see Miz trying to cash in, and either for some reason Orton costs Miz the thing, but Miz does not. He actually blows his cash in here. I think Drew. I think right now it would be ridiculous to downplay Drew and not give him now a solid reign. He's the guy positioned for it. He's the guy who makes the most sense and has the best looking matchup possibilities right now on Raw.
Now, great POV. I think about it as this though. Also, we haven't mentioned the Undertaker at all. 30th anniversary. Yeah. Does the Undertaker appear at the end? While look at this story that I'm writing up for you. End of the match. Miz comes out, tries to cash in on whoever lost. Say Drew loses. Miz tries to cash in. Lights go out. Undertaker's in the ring. Miz backs out. Lights go out again. The Fiend is in the ring with the Undertaker.
I like that.
Fiend, Taker, WrestleMania. The Fiend has to go over, though. I don't care what anybody says. If we're going to bury the Undertaker, you got to bury him. And you got to end it with the Fiend. Honestly, that's
I like your scenario. And if you don't go that route, what about the Miz and Undertaker?
Ooh.
Now, this is a matchup we haven't really seen, a WrestleMania kind of thing. Undertaker cost Miz his cash in, leading to some violent feud down the road. Miz, of course, won't win at WrestleMania.
Yes.
But a good setup for maybe rehabilitating Miz to be a little more of a dangerous wrestler. Okay.
You know what? I laughed at it first, but I think about it now. That actually does work out where Undertaker gets a clean win. You have the Miz building up this anger for months because Undertaker's not going to be on TV until WrestleMania. You have him building this up. Okay, down the road to WrestleMania, Miz is upset. He lost his cash in. He loses the Royal Rumble. Let's say he gets down to the final two, loses another opportunity at the title. You know what? I'm not upset at that. I laughed at you. I apologize, but I take that. That's a great point. All right, so that wraps up your Survivor Series predictions. Make sure you check out Wrestling POV Aftermath right after Survivor Series. You don't want to miss that. We're going to talk with all these guys here. We're going to talk what happened. Are we right? Who wins? What happened? Oh, my God. All right, guys. You know what? Usually we open up the book at this point, but we don't have Tony, and Tony has the book. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold off on the book for the next couple of weeks. And what we're going to do is right now we're going to close off the show. And before we close out the show, What we're gonna do is we're gonna have Elio and TJ play the 5-second shuffle.
What? No. Whoa.
Oh,
Where I play a song from dozens amongst dozens of songs I have.
So I have a chance. I have a chance here.
And it's just a way to ride off into the sunset. With that being said, I am your host, the third wheel, not the cowboy, Rick Serrano the third, along with the gentleman,
Elio Cannella.
And the legend,
T. James Logan running in, bitches.
Love, peace, and wrestling. We'll see you next week. Peace out. All right, Elio, TJ, you ready?
Ready.
No.
All right, here we go. 5 seconds. Ready? Stop it right there.
Finn Balor?
Nothing.
It was so funny. I was trying to think of anyone obscure, and I didn't actually mean Finn Balor. I was thinking of that old British guy. His son is in New Japan. Finley. I was going to say it. Dave Finley. Just an obscure.
No, not. Oh, wow.
You actually have a guess here? I didn't even hear anything.
No,
You want me to try one more time? I'll play it one more time.
One more
Play it
time.
5 seconds, one more time.
Play 50 seconds.
I'll leave it at. I gave you 7 seconds. I'll tell you this. South African.
Gabriel.
Likes lollipops.
Justin Gabriel.
No, Leo Kruger. What was Leo Kruger's other name?
Adam Rose.
Adam Rose. Yes. Adam Rose.
Do I get a half point for Leo Kruger?
You guys each get a half point. All right. Let's go into our next one. This is an easy one. Let's see.
Sami Zayn?
Yes. TJ Logan with the Sami Zayn point. All right, Elio, you need this one to stay alive.
Undisputed Era.
Undisputed. That was so easy. Damn.
All right. We're gonna do one more.
Oh no.
Let's see what we got. I'll leave it at that. Come on, guys.
Okay, are they currently on the roster?
Currently on the roster.
Hurt Business?
Nope.
I'm kidding. Can we hear it one more time?
All right, I'll play a couple more seconds this time.
Oh, Nia Jax.
TJ Logan mobs the floor with Elio Cannella. We do not own the rights to this song. Oh my goodness. TJ came in here and he said, I'm going to slaughter Elio at his own game. Oh man. We don't own the rights. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week. Peace out.
Ow.